Far, far to the west, beyond the vast sea, there is a land called Vinland. The land is warm and bountiful. It is so far that neither slave traders nor the flames of war can reach. There, I am sure you will be able to live without pain. Come with us to that land. Let's create a land of peace in Vinland. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video we will delve into Thorfinn's life, the protagonist of the beautiful anime Vinland Saga, to observe how he transitioned from a cycle of murder, war, and vengeance to discovering his true purpose in life. Hey, I am Marcelo Seda, and I believe in a world where we are more conscious about the things we must improve, we know how to, and we do it. I believe stories can do that. I am here to help you create stories that make this world a better place. If you're new here, please make sure you click the subscribe button so our vision can go to the infinite and beyond. We meet our protagonist, Thorfinn, the son of the ex-Viking Thor, who has chosen to distance himself from the cycle of continuous war. They now live in, we could say, a peaceful village in Iceland. Even though there is no warfare in this place, the culture there still revolves around becoming a warrior. The children are always playing as if they were fighting, and the teenagers dream of dying in battle for a cause. One night, Leif Erikson tells a story about one of his adventures, the day he discovers a new continent, a new world, where fruit grows and grassy plains cover the land. The name of this land is Vinland, and Thorfinn is very delighted by this story. One day, a slave, someone who's been treated poorly, injured, exhausted, and almost about to die, appears in the village. This is the first time Thorfinn encounters slavery. Then, the owner of the slave appears, reclaiming his possession. However, Thor's understanding the value of a human life buys his freedom so the poor slave man can die with dignity, at a very high cost. While this man is dying, he asks, "Where am I?" as Thor takes his hand and says, "Far, far to the west, beyond the sea, there is a land called Vinland. It's warm and fertile. It's a faraway land where slave traders and the flames of war cannot reach. What do you think? Would you like to live there with us someday?" Thorfinn hears all of this, but he doesn't understand. All he can see is that his father should fight for what he wants and not let anyone walk over him. He's angry and wants to kill the man. This is when Thorfinn is presented for the first time with the belief that will give him his purpose. Thor finds Thorfinn holding a blade and, scared of Thorfinn going down a violent path, he tells him, "Sword is a tool for killing people. Who are you planning to kill with this?" "My enemy," Thorfinn said. "Who is your enemy?" Thor continues. "Listen closely, Thorfinn. Nobody in this entire world deserves to be hurt. You don't have enemies. No one is your enemy." By a change of fate, Thor is sent on a mission he cannot reject. He disembarks with several men, and Thorfinn appears when they are already on their way. He was hidden, and Thor has no option but to continue with the mission with his son on the ship. They are ambushed by Askeland and his crew, so Thor has no choice but to fight them. He beats them one by one without taking any life, until he faces Askeland himself, resulting in a beautiful scene. Thor wins, but Askeland takes Thorfinn hostage. Thor drops his sword, and many arrows rain down on him. Before dying, Thor asks Askeland to accept his defeat, so Askeland doesn't harm his son or his crew. Thorfinn is crying. He can't believe his father has died, but his emotions start to change, and he becomes angry and resentful. The only person who blames for this is Askeland. From now on, his only goal will be to kill him and avenge his beloved father. Askeland and Thorfinn have their first duel, and Thorfinn loses tremendously. Askeland is decades better than him. Askeland tells him that if he wants another duel, he will have to do something valuable in battle. So Thorfinn gets his opportunity and kills for the first time, screaming full of pain. From now on, he becomes a killing machine and joins Askeland's crew to keep him closer. One day, he loses consciousness and an old lady and her daughter save him. They take care of him and protect him from the guards who are looking for him. Remember that he is now in a cycle of madness, obsessed with killing, but he has the opportunity to live with a beautiful family and see the most wonderful side of humanity. But then, the Vikings arrive and destroy the entire village. Thorfinn feels a lot of pain because he had become close to that old lady, so the cycle continues. Thorfinn keeps losing against Askeland. We all know what happens, until that day comes. Askeland kills the king and begins to act as if he's gone insane. In a fleeting moment, the prince stabs him with his blade. Askeland falls, but Thorfinn holds him before he hits the ground. Thorfinn is screaming and yelling desperately, as he has been trying to kill Askeland with his own hands for years as vengeance for his beloved father. The only purpose he had is disappearing right in front of him. In this intense scene, Askeland starts to question him. How do you intend to live? From now on into the future, long after I've died, how do you intend to live your life, Thorfinn? You haven't even thought that far ahead. Stop this nonsense and just move on. Doing this forever will only keep you stuck in this worthless place. Go far, far away, Thorfinn. Go even beyond the land where Thors went. Become a true warrior, Thorfinn, son of Thors. The second season starts and we are presented with Einar, a man whose mother and sister were killed by Vikings years ago. Then he became a slave and had to travel, witnessing all the horrifying things slaves suffer. Thorfinn is now an adult and he meets Einar on a farm where both work as slaves. Their task is to cut down hundreds of trees and use the land to plant crops, a process that will take more or less 3 years. For the first time, Thorfinn learns the value of hard work and creating something, instead of killing and destroying. This is Thorfinn's purification, his jewel. They also befriend Arneid, another slave who is very close to the farm's owner. Einar actually falls in love with her. As Thorfinn does not have any goals or purpose, he is depressed. He confesses to Einar how empty he feels, as the only thing he knows how to do is fight and kill. In this season, he experiences firsthand the horrors of slavery and he is treated like one. He witnesses the suffering of Einar and himself in that moment. A lot of things happened and Arneid decides to escape with her husband, but couldn't, and her husband dies. The farm's owner becomes very angry and almost beats her to death. Now a war is coming to the farm, guided by the Corn King. Taking advantage of the disturbance, Einar and Thorfinn try to save Arneid and move her away to where she could get better. While the war continues and many people are dying, they move further and further away. Arneid is very physically damaged. On the way out, she finally regains consciousness and opens her eyes, saying, "All of them died, all of the people who were dear to me. What is the point of living any more than this? There is nothing here anymore." She stops breathing and Thorfinn tries very hard to revive her while Einar is yelling at her, trying to give her reasons to live, but nothing happens. She is dead. Thorfinn takes her head with his right hand carefully and with love, and repeats Thor's words. Far, far to the west, beyond the vast sea, there is a land called Vinland. The land is warm and bountiful. It is so far that neither slave traders nor the flames of war can reach. There, I am sure you will be able to live without pain. Come with us to that land. Let's create a land of peace in Vinland. Thorfinn decides to come back and stop the king from taking the farm, as he has already won the war. When he arrives, Thorfinn is detained, and the royal guards don't let him pass to talk with the king. Thorfinn makes a bet. If he can withstand 100 punches from the strongest of the royal guard, they will let him talk with the king. Everyone present is very impressed as Thorfinn receives punch after punch and remains standing until the 100th punch is delivered. The royal guard recognizes him as a true warrior, and the captain asks him, "Why didn't you punch back?" Thorfinn finally understands what Thor's taught him. He now comprehends what a true warrior is. Reflecting the image of his father, he answers, "What kind of a question is that? There's no point in peace negotiation if you go around punching people. I met you guys for the first time today, and we don't know anything about each other. So why do we have to fight each other? We met for the first time today. You are not my enemies. No one is my enemy." And finally, we get to the part I've been wanting for since I started the video. Thorfinn expresses his vision of the world, his why, his purpose to Einar. These souls, who live through hell and seek peace in death, are asking, why do we have to live? I want a world where we can tell them to live, a place where we can confidently say that to people who don't have any escape other than death. Even if it doesn't exist, I will create it. Come with me, brother. Let's create a land of peace in Vinland. Alright then, what a great story, right? So now let's review the elements of this so that you can also find your purpose. First of all, your purpose is not some kind of epiphany, so you don't have to look to the future, but to the past. Just like Thorfinn, he has lived through years of suffering as a consequence of the problem he now wants to solve in the world. So ask yourself, what is that in my life that I've been through and I've always had the tendency to solve? Let me give you an example. As you know, guys, my vision is to build a world in which we are more conscious about the things we must improve. We know how to, and we do it. But how did I realize that? Well, all I had to do is I looked at my past. I am the kind of person who has always been trying to get my friends and family into good habits, for example, because I knew that they would feel better and happier. I was also the kind of person who used to criticize a lot when I saw someone doing something incorrect, like lying or making wrong decisions or maybe treating a person badly, etc. You know, I am the one that when I am watching a movie and I see a person with a lot of anger doing aggressive things, instead of looking for help and trying to change their behavior, I get a little upset. That is why that's my vision, because I could not live in a place like that. That is why you should also ask yourself this question. What are those things or problems people have that make you upset? Maybe since you were a child, you have always been very upset when your parents or grandparents didn't know how to use technology, or even when you see that their speed of learning was so much slower. So your purpose could be to work in a company that offers services or courses specialized in helping adults learn much faster with special methods. You should also have this vision or purpose in very specific words so that when making a decision, you are on a right path by asking yourself if that choice is going to bring you closer to your vision. For example, Thorfinn would ask, is this project going to get us closer to creating a peaceful land? Is this meeting with the king going to help Vinland be more secure? Or maybe I would ask, is this video going to make people aware of something they must improve? And I could answer, yes, this video could help people discover their mission in life and lead a much more meaningful life. Another thing you should keep in mind is that your purpose is something you offer to the world. In the end, we are talking about giving. It's not something like winning a competition or having a good job with a great salary. Those are goals. Great goals, actually, and they are personal. Something we do for ourselves that makes us better. But what is going to happen when we have accomplished those things? When we already have that car? When we are already millionaires? Instead, if, like Thorfinn, you envision something that is much greater than yourself, you share that with others, there are going to be people who want the same world, so you will never be alone. You will be fighting for a cause with others as well, just like Thorfinn and Einar. Now it's your turn to apply all that's been said in this video to your story and to your life as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, but above all, I hope that you've learned something valuable. If so, please subscribe to this channel. This is a great zero-cost way to support me and our vision. Additionally, please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. My links are in the description. If you have some feedback or topics you'd like me to cover in future videos, please put those in the comment section. I do read all the comments. If you're unable to support me in any of those ways, it's okay. Your time and attention have been more than enough. Thanks. Thank you once again for all your support. So, you know what time it is? It's time to go out there and create a great story.